Remember me? Merry Christmas, everybody. Well, I'm in my Santa finery. I'm having a holiday skincare pajama party. I got my pajamas. This is the easiest party to ever go to because you don't have to do your makeup and you don't have to really get out of your pajamas to come. So I'm having a handful of girlfriends over in about an hour and 20 minutes. Unlike me, I'm actually prepared. My house is clean. There's food downstairs. I kept it pretty casual, just cookies and charcuterie and a selection of wine and champagne and other things. But any case, we are going to be doing like a spa party tonight. And I told all the girls to come with no makeup on. So it feels unfair for me to put makeup on, but I'm itching to tell you this story. And so I'm going to put a little makeup on just so that I can go ahead and wash it all off when they get here. But I guess I'm going to have to demonstrate, the cleansing part of the skincare routine because that's what we're having. We're having spa night tonight. I'm breaking out my, I have a hot towel warmer like they have in estheticians' offices and stuff like that. So these girls are going to get the full treatment. But in the meantime, I thought I would get ready and tell this story. I was telling someone this story this week, and they were like, you really should go on Instagram and tell this story. One of the reasons I think it's important to tell this story is because I hope that my kids never make the same mistake that I made when I was young in this story that I'm about to tell you. So when I was in my 20s, I was in a band. I was a lead singer in a band, and it was a college band, college town. And we were quite popular. It was like I played 5 nights a week. It was my full-time job. And, we would be in a different bar every night. And it was the same lineup every single week. We had the same gigs all the time. And I went to Penn State. So this was all happening at Penn State. And I know I am still young. I'm definitely young at heart. I've not aged past 27 ever. And so, I was around 25 or so when this was all going on. So just to give you some context, the Alumni Association chapter in New York City, because we were like the college band when they were coming up through Penn State, asked us to come to this bar in the Village to do a show. They were like renting out this bar in Manhattan. And because we were like, their college band, their college bar band, they were like, wouldn't it be great if we got JR and Katie to come and play for us? So we went up to New York and we did this show at this really cool place that was literally across the street from the Bitter End, which is where Lady Gaga got discovered. And cute little spot in the Village. And we had a hell of a show and they had a hell of a turnout. And there's so many Penn Staters from that Alumni Association chapter in New York. And I don't know what, but I must have caught the attention of the manager of the bar or the owner, because at the end of our gig, she came up to me and she was like, Katie, you're so fabulous. We want you to come back and play in New York on your own. And I'm like, lady, that would be great, but I don't really play an instrument. I could play the tambourine a little bit. I was living my best Stevie Nicks life. But she was like, that's fine. We know plenty of people that can accompany you. Lots of musicians play here. We're going to hook you up with this guy and it'll all be good. Just come up, do some rehearsals with him and you guys will be good to go. You'll be able to play a full night. So that's what I did. In my off time, I still played with JR and the boys and that was great. But in my off time, I started commuting by train up into the city, and I was rehearsing with this guy. His name was Ray. He was really awesome, just a super, super sweet guy, great musician, and we started doing gigs there on Wednesday nights. So I thought I was really, things were happening for me. I was playing a regular gig in New York City, and I thought, well, maybe I should move to New York. And do this more often, because if I'm here, I'm not having the expense of taking the train in every time and having to find either a friend's couch to sleep on or, a hotel room, because I wasn't making enough money yet from just that one night that I was able to support the commute, right? So anyway, this had been going on, and I was feeling like increasingly comfortable going in and out. And my ex-husband, who I was dating at the time, was living in Philadelphia. And so a lot of times I would go see him and then just take the train in and out. Like, he couldn't come every time. It was in the middle of the week, so middle of the work week. So he couldn't just like pop on the train with me or whatever. So I would like leave his place in Philly, take the train in, and then take the train back the next morning. So I had these illusions of like maybe possibly moving to New York. So I had this job interview on the gig was on a Wednesday, and I had this job interview on a Thursday. So I had like my suitcase with like my interview wear, and I had this job interview, and it was at the Reebok gym. At the Reebok gym on like the Upper West Side. It was like where Beyonce and Jay-Z had memberships. And it was in their like corporate sales department. So the job would have been like going into corporations and selling like packaged memberships to this amazing athletic club that like celebrities go to. So big interview. And I'm doing my gig, my suitcase is in the corner, like behind the bar, and the manager leaves early that night, and the guy that was working the door, I didn't really know very well, and my partner left, and it was time for me to get paid the door, like I got a part of the door, and this dickhead completely stiffed me the money. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting and really kind of bad judgment on my part. So I hope that if my kids ever watch this video, that they will never, ever, ever, or I will absolutely kill them, make the same mistake that I made. So I'm sitting there, and I've got to stay in the city because I've got this job interview. I also told my friend was expecting me to stay at his place for free, no problem, but he was like way up in Queens. So I was just expecting to get my several $100s, take a cab, and get where I needed to be. Mind you, it is now like 2 a.m, and I'm all the way down in the Village. And I have no money and no cash. And it's too late to call my mom and dad, right? Mistake number 1, pick up the phone and call your mom and dad no matter what time it is, and ask them to make you a reservation at the closest possible hotel and put it on their credit card. They won't mind. I don't even know if my mom knows this story. Instead of that embarrassment and shame that I felt because I had gotten stiffed at the door, I decided to get on the subway at 2 a.m. by myself. I was young and cute, and I had no protection of any kind. And I'm getting on there, and I'm like in this car, and I'm just trying to like keep my head down. And there was definitely like weird people coming in and out. And the worst part about it was, in order to get to another borough, I had to get off the train and wait for another line. And that was in the middle of Midtown at like 2:30 in the morning. I'm standing on the platform all alone. And literally, it's just that feeling, you know, the feeling where you're like, I'm in danger, and like the blood just runs cold out of your face. And you're just like, I was all the way in the bowels of New York City. I know, if my daughter did this, I would wring her fucking neck. I can't believe I made these choices, right? Like, that would have been it. Sayonara, never to be seen or heard from again, right? So I'm standing there on this platform. There's absolutely no blood in my face. I have my suitcase. I look like a target, like you don't even know. I look like the most out of place person. And the train comes, I get on the train, another wino or two, another homeless person or two, another person that like pissed his pants and stinks to high heaven came on and off, and I'm just like this the whole way. I finally get to Queens, and it's like, you go from being in the subway underneath the city to being elevated, and then you get off on like an elevated platform, and I have no idea where I am. And my friend, who I was staying with because I couldn't afford a hotel room, I couldn't even afford a goddamn cab. He was at a Yankees game and had gone out like after, and the Yankees don't even play in Manhattan either. They're in a whole other area. So he wasn't home, and I'm like, Evan, where is your house? Like, I need to get to your apartment. Like, where is it? And he's like, I'll just drop you a pin. Thank God we had iPhones. I was like 25. And so I shit you not, I'm like wheeling my suitcase at now 3 a.m, and I must have looked over my shoulder like this, like in the dark. The street lights weren't working. I'm amongst all of these like townhouse, whatever, row homes. And I finally get to his door, and my hands were shaking so bad. I'm looking over my shoulder, looking over. And I remember walking in the door and like putting my back on the door and like sliding down to a seated position. And I just started sobbing. And so granted, at the end of the story, like nothing really happened to me. I was just scared shitless. But I'm like, things that I wish I could tell my younger self, right? Like, don't fucking do that ever. You know, don't ever not call your mom, or you know what I mean? Call somebody, anybody. Don't do that. Like, of all the dumb shit that I've done in my life, that is at the top. And it's been a minute since I thought about that story. And then again, it's like one extra chapter of this like stupid story, which is the next day. So, you know, Evan comes home, it's like 5 a.m. He's rolling in from the bars. I don't even remember. I was just on the couch with like a washcloth for like a blanket. I get up the next day, shower, put my suit on to go to my interview. I take that in there. I take another train in there, which was broad daylight, and like working people were on. And I was just like, I love all you people. I love everyone on this train. I love you and you and you. Like, it was just crazy. And so I get to the Upper West Side, and I was like an hour early for this is another crazy chapter of this crazy weekend, and probably one of the big reason in general that I decided not to move to New York. I'm an hour early, and I go to like a Starbucks that's nearby because I'm like, I'm way too early. So I'm in my suit, and this girl, is at like the pickup end of this Starbucks, which is very busy. And I'm walking up, and she turns around and like slams into me, and she had a raspberry latte that exploded all over me. True, Sarah. I mean, this is a story that could have ended so differently. I'm here to tell it. So anyway, raspberry latte, like grenade all over my outfit. I look at the barista behind the thing, and I said, can I leave my bags here? Because I was literally taking a train back to Philadelphia after my interview. So I had all my shit with me still. And the girl was like, absolutely, go ahead. And she lets me like wheel my suitcase back behind the bar. And she goes, there's a Banana Republic like 6 blocks down. I hoof it with just my credit card and myself. And I'm running as fast as I can down to this Banana Republic. I come storming in the store. It's like 9:30 in the morning. And I said, I need an outfit right now. Of course then it's like, I'll whip out the credit card, right? Where was this sense last night when my life was hanging in the balance? So anyway, I'm like, I don't care what it costs. Just, you know what I mean? Like, how dumb is that? That I was willing to spring to make it to the interview. What kind of girl math is that? This is hitting me all right now. Anyway, revelation. So, right, like 24 hours before, I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'm just in the middle of Midtown at 3 a.m. standing on a platform in the middle of the city, like about to get murdered in cold blood and just drugged down the alley and, I don't know, cannibalized or worse. I don't even know. So the people at Banana Republic were amazing. I was like, just throw my shit in a bag. And I wore another outfit out of there. And I went running back. Hi, baby. I went running back to the gym. I make it. I'm 5 minutes late for the interview now. So instead of being an hour early, I'm now 5 minutes late. And I have no excuses. So what do you tell somebody in this high level interview when you know you're late, but really in all reality, you were early? I just told the truth. I was in a sweat. I was like, well, clearly I've been doing my cardio because I just ran to the Banana Republic and back. And this is a brand new outfit. I'm sure there's a tag hanging from something because I had a total mishap at a, and I'm leaving right after and the guy was like actually nice. It was probably still the hardest interview that I've ever had to do because he still grilled the hell out of me. And then I got another call back. This is so crazy. I got a call back for a second interview and I told them no thanks because I was so rattled by that whole experience. Both of those days, I never did another gig and I never moved to New York. So that's the story. Be careful out there. Obviously, what's been in the news lately with the lawsuits and New York City subway endangerments brought this whole story back to the forefront. And it's been a long time since I've thought about it, but truly retelling it, it literally still makes my hair stand on end on my neck, It's crazy. But anyway, Lucy's sitting here now. I hope she listens to this and doesn't ever make that same decision ever. So scary. Mm-hmm. Don't run at night. It's crazy. Anyway, okay, guys, my guests will be here in 1 hour. We're going to go downstairs and just cool our heels for a little bit, but I hope you guys are having a great night. I'll talk to you soon.